poor policy implementation. That, more than funding, is what the Minister of Health says is mainly to blame for the shortage of drugs in the country. Terence Dayal Singh addressed the issue of the short supply of drugs in the public sector at a news conference today. Karen Cozier-Phillip has this report.
The Health Ministry alerted citizens to the shortage of drugs in the public health sector a number of times over the past few weeks. But Friday, for the first time, Minister of Health Terence Dayal Singh explained how the country has come to this point. Mr. Dayal Singh said, contrary to public opinion, that it's simply a matter of low funds. The issue stems from poor planning within the ministry. He explained that drugs are not manufactured here and need to come from abroad. Therefore, some process of planning must take place.
You have to bear in mind that in Trinidad we don't manufacture any of these things, the pharmaceuticals or the non-pharmaceuticals. We have a very small manufacturing thing here, but negligible. So we don't have logistical manufacturing control over drugs. They all come from abroad.
He said the solution to this problem is not as simple as one would think. After the annual budget presentation in September, the ministry has to wait on the budget to be debated, after which the ministry has to await funding to place orders. But this unfortunately coincides with the period when international manufacturers round up operations for the year.
And you have to remember, the plants abroad close down between November and January every year for compulsory maintenance and cleaning.
He assured, however, that work has begun to rectify the problem.
I, as Minister of Health, will now work with NIPDEC to come up with a different logistical method of importing the drugs so that I could time the information and the availability of funds before the plants are closed in November and December.
But Mr. Dayal Singh urged citizens to be realistic moving forward. As he noted, no one person can predict that there will never be a drug shortage in the future. He added that he intends to ensure that any future shortage will be only as a result of global shortages and not poor planning and policy making by his ministry. Karen Cozier-Phillip, C News.
On the topic of drug shortages, the health minister also refutes claims by NIPDEC that the company has not allotted sufficient funds for the purchase of drugs. The organization announced that in order to efficiently supply drugs, they would need a total of 1 billion TT dollars, a figure that's far more generous than the 400 million they're now being given. Mr. Dayal Singh says the figure is exorbitant.
What has happened over the years is that you had a formulary which started off with about 300 drugs and which ballooned unnecessarily to over 900 drugs. And NIPDEC will tell you to purchase these 900 drugs, we need that $1 billion. But the question, Judy, is, are those 900 drugs all necessary? And when I asked PAHO to undertake that study, the answer is no.
And the health minister is again reiterating there's no shortage of the yellow fever vaccine in this country, nor is there a threat of an outbreak. His remarks come after several conflicting reports in the media arose when Trinidadian nationals were denied entry into foreign countries for failure to prove they were vaccinated against the virus. He says the problem remains just that, proof. He urges citizens to find and keep in a safe place their immunization cards, which must be presented to be eligible for international travel.
Because to travel, because of the outbreak, certain countries are demanding that you produce not this, but you produce this. This is your international certificate of vaccination. But to get this, you must have this.